Have you ever been alone at night in an office space or industrial facility? Think about what you could hear. The flicker of lights, the hum of machinery, perhaps the echoes of wind from far off in the distance. When you're alone, these sounds that would normally be hidden by the hustle and bustle of a crowd come to the forefront of our attention, and we become hyper-aware of the sounds in our surroundings. But in these real-life spaces, many of these sounds are incidental, and an eerie atmosphere is only created by a combination of elements that accidentally come together in harmony. However, in a video game, a soundscape has to be handcrafted and carefully considered to create an intended atmosphere. So today, with your permission, I'd like to analyze how the unsettling atmosphere is created in Portal 1 using sound design. Let's start by taking a listen to an example of a soundscape in the game and breaking down its individual elements. The two most prominent sounds in this example are the uncomfortable electric buzz of the fluorescent light coming from the large sign to the left, and the rhythmic echoes of distant wind in the corners of the facility. Both of these elements contribute to the personality for the space that the soundscape is creating, but the rhythmic echoes stand out. The rhythm of wind rising and falling evokes the impression that the facility itself is alive and is breathing, pulsating. This also reflects the narrative of the game, as the rogue AI GLaDOS is the heart of the testing site and is monitoring your every move, breathing down the player's neck. Without reflecting on those sounds though, the symbolism behind the soundscape might not be immediately apparent. But the subconscious emotion evoked by this rhythmic ambient sound is present regardless. Another way to listen to this sound would be to imagine the source of the sound is actually internal to the player character instead of external. Trapped within this intimidating facility, forced to complete tests in the hope that freedom may await, it would only be natural to hear your own breathing or heartbeat in your head, as many do when they're stressed. Analysing the sound from this perspective provides a far more reflective look into the main character themselves, applying more subtle characterization rather than explicitly telling the player who the character is and how they feel. This is also especially important in a game played through the first-person perspective, where it's rare to get a glimpse of what the main character looks like, so any clues towards the character are important. Both the internal and external perspectives of this sound serve to create an uncomfortable sensation in the player, whether they understand the symbolism or not. I'd like to play the soundscape example for you again, but this time, focus on that rhythm, reflecting on what emotions or symbolism you think the sound is trying to evoke. What do you think? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Music is another incredibly valuable tool in setting the tone of an environment, and Portal quietly weaves its music into the atmosphere. Most of the music is quite ambient, dark, and mysterious, melting together with the sound effects to create the isolating feeling of being trapped within a facility, which the song titles reflect, with tracks named Self-Esteem Fund and Procedural Jigglebone or Taste of Blood. Let's take a listen to a few of these songs, and I encourage you to close your eyes as you listen, thinking about what emotions arise as the music washes over you. How did you feel? Alone? Isolated? Trapped? Personally, the soundtrack to Portal makes me feel uncertain. Even after playing through this game many times, the music fills me with unease and a sense of uncertainty. And it's this uncertainty that is another of the key elements that contribute towards the overall unsettling atmosphere in the game. Finally, we can't talk about the sound design of Portal without discussing GLaDOS herself. The robotic tones of her voice juxtaposed with the dry sense of humour create an unnerving sense of uncanny valley. There is something almost human-like in the way that she speaks and jokes around, but the grating, piercing robotic voice keeps her from fully sounding real. This is an unsettling balance, and pair this with the fact that we do not see her for most of the game, her voice becomes a haunting presence echoing through the halls of the empty facility.
Momentum, a function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
On a first-time playthrough of Portal, especially in the earlier test chambers, the player is never explicitly told what is going on around them. But the symbolic sound design and evocative music craft an uncomfortable atmosphere that begins to lead the audience clues towards something terribly wrong happening at Aperture Science, and that there may be more to GLaDOS than we realise. That's all I have for you today, but if you enjoyed this look into Portal, consider becoming a channel member, as this month's member exclusive video will be about Half-Life 1. Thanks for watching!